All right, all right. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. It is just about 5 after 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And Leslie Lilies or any consultants that might be watching this replay, thank you, thank you, thank you for taking time to watch this replay with us today. So as we kick this off, I have a few things to announce, and let me go ahead and bring up my notes. So today we are kind of following up to what we were doing last night. And in case you did not know, about a month ago, we started these power half an hours, and it's every Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon. And Tammy Curtis just got here. Hello, hello, hello. And what I'm going to do is pretty much kind of continue what I was talking about last night. And of course, as always, after I finish this recording, I will open it up with no recording for a Q&A afterwards. In case Tammy or anybody else that joins in the team Zoom room, I'll be here for a few minutes afterwards too. But last night, I taught the 5 ways that you can build consistency and maintain momentum here in your Pure Romance business. And then I also shared the 6 ways that you can book parties from parties last night. And it was really good information. I wanted to keep teaching, but our 30 minutes came to an end. And so today we've got an action step and we need some pen and paper. So go ahead, Tammy, or anybody else that might be watching this replay, grab some pen and paper so we can get to work, because today I'm teaching pretty much what I said last night, and we started talking about it, but it's called FRANKO, and it's us spelling out the word FRANKO, F-R-A-N-K-O. And this was something that our corporate trainer, Kimberly Buck, taught us this past Sunday at the Pure Romance University tour. And what we're going to do is we're going to take about 60 to maybe 90 seconds with each letter. And I've got my pen and paper too, so I'm going to do this as well. I want to make sure my pen is working. Yes. Okay. So I've got my pen and paper too. And I will literally stop talking after each letter, after I explain each letter. And we're going to take, a minute, maybe 2 minutes tops, and jot down some ideas for each letter. And what this is doing is it's giving us the ability to kind of break apart who we know and find those people that might be waiting for us to hit them up and ask them to either invite us over so we can show off some of our fun goods, that, share our inventory and share any package deals that we might be having. And of course, to play some games, have a cocktail, and just kind of hang out, have a girls' night. So this is a list of leads that you're going to be able to look at, and you can even add more to it over the weekend. Maybe you could have a goal that you want to hit within each letter. I just want to sit here in our power half an hour, and I want to come up with at least one name, one person, one lead to go with each letter. So here we go. Let's go. And I'll go ahead and type in the chat box what each letter kind of represents. So when we're taking that 1 to 2 minutes during each letter, we can really kind of focus and think, and so we won't feel so rushed. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see Deborah Truitt just got in here with us. We are just starting our training, and let's kick this off. So the first F, so the word FRANKO, let me just type that here. So we're going to go by letter. And again, Kimberly Buck was the genius behind this, so I have to give her some massive, massive credit. But like I said, we're going to take a break after each one. So let's go ahead and start a list of people that we know, or perhaps we know someone that knows them. So the first letter, being F, is your good old friends. your friends, your friends, your friends. So let's sit here and take a moment and think of a friend. And I won't talk this whole time, I promise. I was looking for a timer. Here we go. I'm gonna use my phone and I'm gonna time us. And we're just gonna think, I'm gonna think of at least one, and then maybe, actually, no, I've already thought of two. Let me shut up and turn on my timer. And when my timer goes off, we will move on to the next letter. So what we're doing right now is I just started our 2-minute timer. I've got my pen and paper as well. And I'm going to start writing down I've already got 2 names in mind. So let me write that down. So the first letter being F is friends. Friends who you can ask to invite you over and have a girls' night, have some fun. That wasn't very loud, but there goes the timer. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And I don't know how many you may have come up with. If you've got at least one name under friends, then you're working with us and we're moving right through the Franco. Me, I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the only way I was able to write those down is I started like losing, my focus. And I was like, okay, let me go look through a couple of friends that may have commented on my posts recently. And let me write their name down because I haven't asked them recently to invite me over. So the next letter. And we're only doing about 60 seconds after each letter. So let me go ahead. So R stands for relatives. And I've already got one relative in mind. I have not asked her in a while. So I'm going to go write her down. But relatives, even the ones you're afraid to ask, because no joke, I thought I would never, ever, ever, ever ask my mother-in-law. And because she lives up in Pennsylvania and all that jazz. And I thought, okay, maybe a weekend when me and the family go up there, I'll take a couple of products and I'll ask her and I'll see if she can have some friends over. No joke. She filled her living room with like 20 people. And I'm like, why that? I've been up to Pennsylvania every other quarter with, why haven't I asked her to do this before? And now, because of all the parties I've had with my mother-in-law up in Pennsylvania, now I've grown a team up in Pennsylvania that continues to grow and share the business. And then I have a party with my mother-in-law at least once a year. So relatives, let's set the timer. I'm going to make this timer a little bit louder. And and let's begin. 1 minute, 60 seconds. Let's write down all the relatives we need to ask, that we're afraid to ask, to invite us over to have a girls' night. Okay, there it goes again. We're moving right along. I wrote down two names. One is my cousin Jenny. Her name is Jenny Penny, and she lives in Tennessee. And I've been kind of nervous, and I think I'm just going to go ask her today and be like, hey, if I drove over to Tennessee, or is she, I need to find out if she might be in Arkansas, like near the border of where I was born. So I need to go catch up with my cousin. And then of course I haven't seen Shauna in a while. So she's another cousin of mine. So I thought, why not go see her and have a party? So I'm going to ask them today. Now, the next letter is A in Franco, which stands for acquaintances. I can never say that right. Acquaintances. This could be like people you know, they're not technically in your friend zone, they're not related to you, they're not your family, but you see them a lot. And an example, like I could write down for acquaintances is Seville. Seville has been doing my hair for like 10 years. She does Delilah's hair now too. And I haven't asked her in a while. So I don't know why Zoom's not letting me type all of a sudden. Okay, so A in Franco, we're halfway done. Acquaintances. So again, like your hair chick, a realtor you might know, someone who does business with you, someone you've met recently that owns a small business, an acquaintance, someone who coached, like I could go, like I'm gonna write down, I'm gonna set the timer, of course, but I'm gonna go write down, there's this chick who used to coach Delilah's little league team. So, you know, a couple years back, and I've been seeing her like on my Facebook and on my Instagram. So for some reason, she's been in my mind. So I'm gonna go, you know, she's an acquaintance. So I'm gonna go write her name down. Let me go ahead, start our 1 minute timer. And get us going. But of course, if this timer doesn't start, you guys can always. Oh, that's better. All right, timer has begun. Let's go. Let's write down all acquaintances we can think of. All right, I like that timer better. That timer noise. Okay. I got my hair girl I told you guys about, Seville. I've got an old Girl Scout co-leader. I wrote her name down, the chick from the little league. And then I got to a fourth gal, and she's an old coworker. Again, just somebody I've seen posting lately. And she's an acquaintance. So yay. All right. After A comes N, and N stands for neighbors. No joke. I forget my own neighbors sometimes. And remember, these are not just your current neighbors. These could be people you've lived next to in the past. Like I just bought my house, you know, it hasn't even been a year yet. And I should probably, there's about 2 or 3 doors down. There's this woman who I've been wanting to introduce myself to. So N for Franco is neighbors. So I want to go meet, I'm going to call it the yellow and white house. I'm going to go introduce myself. I'm going to face my fear. I'm going to get real brave. And I have a neighbor at my old house, in my Virginia Beach house that I sold last year. Erin. I'm going to write her name down because I haven't seen her in almost a year. So yeah, let's do it. I'm going to start the timer before I keep talking. Let's do N for neighbors, past neighbors, current neighbors. Maybe there's a neighborhood that you wished you own a house in. Maybe your friend owns a house. Think about your friend's neighbors. No joke. All the neighbors. Let's go. All right. Time. That was N for neighbors. And Mariah Stubbs, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are working our way through Franco. We did not have a chance to do it last night. For neighbors, like I was saying, I wrote down the yellow and white house neighbor that's new in my neighborhood. I want to go meet her. There is the old neighbor in my Virginia Beach house, that mom that lived next door. I'm going to go ask her. And then there was a grandmother I wrote down because she's a neighbor that lived near the school that my kids used to go to. And we used to see each other all the time. And she actually did comment on something of mine recently. So she's in my mind, right? So I'm going to go ahead and message her. So we're almost through it. We are on K. Tammy Curtis, you are a trooper being here with us. And Stubbs, thanks for coming in. We just saw Deborah Truitt. But I am recording and we're getting through it. And then I'll stop the recording and have a little Q&A afterwards if anybody needs it. So next is K. And I am writing and typing right along with y'all. So K. And Tammy Curtis, I know we're recording and people are going to watch us on our YouTube channel later for our team and for other consultants, but I know you can relate with this big time. K can stand for kids connections. Kids connections. We're talking not just our physical kids, but any other kids that we know. For example, one of my best friends, she's got younger kids. Like I've got almost teenagers, and she's got younger kids. So I'm thinking about asking her, because she's a connection that my kids have with a younger, family. And then coworkers. If you don't have any kids connections, just take the K and go coworkers, So kids connections could be, I'm thinking about Tammy Curtis, maybe she waves to, because she's a bus driver. Maybe there's some kids' moms that she's waved to quite often, those connections, or, over the years, if she's made any connections with other kids' bus drivers, her network is much larger than she probably thinks. So, but again, there's coworkers, and those could be coworkers you've had currently, you've had in the past, people you just really clicked with. Think about the K as clicking, like anybody I've clicked with, kids connections, coworkers, and clicking. So that's what I love about it. Let's go ahead and set the timer. Let's do this. Timer is set. All right, all right. Last but not least is the O in Franco. So, and for Kids Connections, just so you guys know, I got a few kids' moms' names written down. I'm just gonna get brave. You know, I've never thought of hitting up Tenor's mom, which is she's like the PTA secretary over here at Great Bridge Intermediate. And I've been rather, you know, she's kind of like on my unicorn list. Like she knows so many people, and I've been so nervous because the kids have only been in school for, you know, a month, and they were only in school for like a couple of months last year. So I didn't really warm up to her as quickly because it was such a broken kind of school year. But we actually kept in touch over the summer, and I think it's really cool that her son and my son, even though they're not in class together anymore, that they're still friends, you know, and Dean still talks about Tenor all the time. So I actually have her saved in my phone as Tenor's mom, which is so rude. Like the first thing I'm going to go ask her is, what's your name? All right. So, which your name's probably somewhere, you know, in an email. But last but not least, so we wrap up our power half an hour. We are getting stuff done today. Franco, the O stands for organizations out of state or online. Organizations out of state online. Now, when you think about organizations, think about things you volunteered with, think about organizations that are nonprofit. They're always looking for ways to you know, create some kind of funds for their organization, some kind of, you know, fundraiser. Another way, and that's your hostess credit. If she has, you know, a $300 party and you are willing to give her 10% of the party sales, that's $30 in a donation to her organization of whatever it might be. A quick example of this before I start the timer, the one organization that I still help every single November is the sailing team at William and Mary University. And I've been doing a party in their house every year for the past like 12 years. And they always come ready to help their organization because the sailing team, they always need supplies for the boats. They always need gas for their boats. They never have enough money in their organization to go to half of the races they want to go to for their sailing team. So every year we shoot for at least like 20 to 30, you know, sailing team members to come to the house. And even if they can't stay or, you know, enjoy the entire presentation, which is my presentation of product and having fun and laughing, there'll be sailing team members of that organization that will just show up and hand money over. Some will shop and some will just donate. And we had the biggest check I was able to give that sailing team one year was $650. You guys, these organizations will continue to invite you back. So get in with one now. Another great organization that is chock full of women is Zumba. Get with one or two Zumba instructors inside of that organization, and they will talk about you at all their classes. Yoga instructors, all kinds of, you know, I also connect with the Vet House Incorporated. They're another organization I donate to. Out of state, could seriously like sit down and think like who is out of state that you would love to go visit? If it's this year, next year's in a couple of months. We have every right to start planning for whenever we want to travel out of state, see our cousins, see our nieces, see our nephews, see somebody, get 4 or 5 friends of girlfriends together, or have an open house with their out of state, you know, family or friends or, you know, acquaintances. And then last but not least, part of that O is online. And that's where I would straight up go to my VIP group first and start looking through those members. And I would look for the members who are near me. Maybe like a friend of a friend of a friend invited someone and I don't know her, but she's near me and she's part of my members group. So that's your online network that maybe you haven't tapped into yet. And I guess the last thing I'll mention with the Franco and the O before we set our last timer together, and then I'm going to break down this recording and and start our own conversation afterwards with just the ladies in the room, of course. But this, online presence is something, if you don't want to, sit around all day and try to go through your friend list or your members list, you could just simply start by, making a post that says, I'm looking for new friends that are not in my state. You could use that as your post. If, like friends that are not in Tennessee. That is how, no joke, that is how I found a place to stay in California when I was traveling recently. It was a friend's friend, and we got to know each other. We hung out online. Okay. And then I stayed at her house, and she actually enjoyed, like, I showed her a couple of products that were in my travel bag. She invited her neighbor over. Her neighbor placed an order on my website. It was a 2-person, like $200 party that I was able to have in California. I live in Virginia. All right. So no joke. Let's set it. Let's do it. Last part of Franco. Thank you again, Tammy Curtis. You've been with me the whole time. I'm setting the timer. Let's do this. For organizations out of state or online. All right, that was our last timer. I'm going to go ahead and review just real quick. Again, FRANKO stands for friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids, connections, coworkers, and then organizations out of state or online. No joke. I have an entire page of new names. Myself, I hope Tammy Curtis has a few names. We're gonna kill off this recording, but if you want to just quickly share how this helped you, how this might have helped you focus, really find people, not so much, making those posts all the time, but really looking. What do you think, Tammy or Stubbs, that's in the room with us?
Sounds awesome. I'll have to work on it and what have you. I just jotted down the letters and what they meant and give me ideas anyway.
And do you think that'll help you with your leads list, with really finding specific people?
Maybe.
Nice. Mariah Stubbs, I know you're oh, she's got babies crying in the background. She's joining us on her lunch break. And she was with me on Sunday when we learned this at Pure Romance University. So you're right, Tammy. That's kind of all we did at first, was just kind of write down. And this was actually my first time jogging my memory and really focusing, like, who could I ask in this category today? So this could be something you do on your own, as well as something you can add more to later. But thank you. Let me go ahead, kill this recording, and thank you. Let's go ahead and say bye, Lilies, or bye to any Pure Romance consultants that might have watched the replay. Thank you.